It's really simple to do a range of motion test. Just put your hands together and turn as far as you can. Mark the place on the wall where your hand. Then take your earthing card and twist. You will twist about 20% further. Take it out, try it again. You go back to the place. Dr. Stan, could you please explain to us why it happens, what your experiences were with this? Because you tested it. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
I'll explain it the way I understand it myself.
Let's start with when you tried this, what were your results? Okay. So Dr. Stan, when you tried this with your people, what did you notice?
I definitely noticed exactly what you just demonstrated, which is that with the second effort, using the card between your hands, you definitely have more ability to twist farther. A medical term would be your range of motion improved. Your rotational range of motion improved. And that's not surprising, because with the second effort, most people's range of motion would improve, whether they had a card in their hands or not. But what is significant is that when you take the card out, the range of motion declines again. So rather than, furthering the range of motion with the third effort, you actually lose range of motion when you take the card out from between your hands, and then you make that slow twist. If you do it quickly, then you're going to get some artificial issues going on. But if you turn slowly and just honestly assess what your range of motion was, it will be less again when you take that card out between your hands. And I believe that is because of the effect on the chronic stress response in the body from the earthing card, which the chronic stress response is partly affected by two balancing parts of your nervous system. One is called the sympathetic and one is called the parasympathetic system. For most people, when they're in chronic stress, their sympathetic system is dominant. It's way over dominant, and that's where their normal state is. That's where their usual state is. That's not normal, but it's where most Americans live now, because we live in a 24/7, always on, stressed out, environment. And the parasympathetic system is supposed to balance that, and that's where you get the relaxation part of the body's neurological system. And so the earthing card, I'm confident, is actually bringing balance to that parasympathetic sympathetic imbalance that most people have just by virtue of trying to live in our society. And that, if that is what's going on, that's a very powerful effect all through the body, because that relative balance or imbalance affects everything in the body. It affects every organ system, especially cardiovascular health. It affects immune health. So it's a very dramatic, it's a sort of a tip of the iceberg view of what's going on all through the body by that simple exercise. It's showing this sympathetic parasympathetic imbalance.
Awesome.
And it's
Thank
bringing
you.
it back into balance, into better balance. So I'm not going to say it's perfectly normalized, because it might be better if you had even more things being done, but as a simple intervention, it definitely improves it. In my world, anything that decreases sympathetic overdrive or too much sympathetic tone, however you want to say it, anything that decreases that imbalance is going to promote health and help the body's natural disease-resistant systems be turned on. So that's really big deal. That's a big deal for me.